Good news for migrants and asylum seekers in Germany, as the strict asylum law for immigration in Germany has been rejected in the Bundestag. This is a very good news. Before I proceed, I want to seize this opportunity to appreciate the German authority for not allowing the devil to use them to create fear for people who are living here over years in Germany and those who also wish to come here. This is a good development. Over past week, we have been hearing a lot of news, strict news, fearful news that especially this thing started from America immediately. Donald Trump became the president of America. Immigrants began to be afraid, and this was nearly spreading all over the European country. And we saw what was playing on in some of the parties in Germany. Thank God. I'm so grateful for the lawmakers who did not allow this to come to pass. Now, in this video, I will be playing some reactions and how everything plays out. If you're an immigrant, I'm speaking to myself. Don't say because you have Dutch passport, you are not an immigrant anymore. These things could happen to anybody. I want you to sit down, listen to this reaction. But before we go there, let me welcome you guys properly. Welcome to my platform. My name is Linda. I base here in Germany. I create educational content like this that help to inform, sanitize, educate people to know what is going on in Germany. We are not here to mislead you. We are not here to deceive you. We are not here to bring anybody or any country down. No, we are here to inform, educate, sanitize, enlighten people. Like many people do not have time to know what is going on in the country they live in, to not know what is playing out. That is why we are bringing this news, this information to your doorstep. So I ask you, if you like what you are watching right now, please kindly subscribe. There is a notification bell. Put it on. This will enable you to know when we upload a new video. Now, during the course of this, because the day of their debate, I sat down. It wasn't an easy thing. And again, I like the way they handle it. They handle it peacefully. It wasn't a war or something. I sat down to see the outcome of this. If you're an immigrant who have not stand very well here, I believe that all this while you have been shivering, you have been afraid, and some of bloggers also make it more difficult for people. They don't like saying things the way it should be. That is why I always tell you that I'm not here to mislead you. They revealed that. I've been saying it before. Some people will claim that they are not giving them documents to work. During this debate, it was revealed that a lot of immigrants living in Germany have been given permits to work, but they decided not to work. Have you people seen it? They give you opportunity to work. You don't want to work. You want to rely on the social benefit. You want to rely in other people's sweat. You don't know that those money they are paying you is from the taxes people pay. If you work, I work, and you pay your tax, I pay my tax, then things will be easier. Another thing is this, talking about deportation. You cannot, because you see that your country is good, just like Donald Trump is doing. If he said, okay, we want to deport people who are committing crime, who are, doing all sorts of illegal things in our country, that one is advisable. If they say they want to deport people that are not working, because I don't know why you leave your country to come here, and you have been given documents. If you are watching me right now, they have given you permission to work and you have not worked, they will still deport you. Despite the fact that the restriction law had been rejected, but they are going to amend it. That was how they deported one last year. He have lived here for 20 years. He have not worked. Each time he was asked to go and work, he will go and impregnate his wife, or he will complain that he's having waist pain. How do you enjoy as a healthy person? I'm not talking about people who are sick. I'm talking about those of you that is healthy, that you can go to the field and work. You don't want to work. You want to rely in other people's sweat. It is not good. Let's call a spade a spade. If they deport you, do not complain that you have been deported. Let's listen to the reaction. This video might be long, but you are going to enjoy it. Sit down from different people and I give them all credit. Let's go there.
CSU Entwurf eines Gesetzes zur Begrenzung des illegalen Zustroms von Drittstaatsangehörigen nach Deutschland, Zustrombegrenzungsgesetz, bekannt. Abgegebene Stimmkarten 693. Mit Ja haben 338 Abgeordnete gestimmt. Mit Nein haben 350 Abgeordnete gestimmt. Fünf Abgeordnete haben sich enthalten. Der Gesetzentwurf ist abgelehnt. Damit entfällt nach unserer Geschäftsordnung die weitere Beratung. So, ich bitte jetzt diejenigen, die aus welchen Gründen.
So you've heard for yourself, massive good news for all foreigners in Germany, for all asylum seekers in Germany, for all those who still have the hope of bringing their families to Germany as Familiennachzug, which is family reunion. I am going to make another video to explain in details those parties that voted, those parties that you should actually look out for if you're going to be a voter on the 23rd of February 2025 during the Bundestag election in Germany. For those who might not have understood what happened there, the 5-Punkt Plan, which is the 5-point plan that Friedrich Merz, the CSU leader and aspiring chancellor in Germany, has been declined. Yes, the Bundestag has declined it, meaning that it's no longer go to the next level, which is the Bundesrat. No, it has been declined. No one is going to talk about it. And now let's see what's going to happen in the next few days. Wanted to quickly come to give this update. So congratulations, good news. Let's see what they have now in stock.
Good news, the strict asylum law has been rejected. Guys, today I sat for 6 hours 45 minutes to watch the Bundestag discussion because I want to get details of what they are saying. Now, I put down so many things which I'm going to discuss with you people, which I'm just going to pinpoint it because I don't want my video to be that long. Now, one thing I noticed is it is not so dramatic like the way we vloggers or people who talk about things in Germany put it out there. Please, please, people who cover German news, try to bring positive things. In fact, after watching this discussion today, this Bundestag debate or discussion, I realized that most time we just pick some of those things that are like, okay, controversy and put online. It is not that bad like the way we are talking about. Now, guys, they talk about the influx limitation, which is something that I already said they voted for. The influx limitation is all about they talk about who can seek asylum and under which condition this person can seek asylum, which is something that is very difficult. So because you will not know what I am going through personally, you don't know where I'm coming from, and most of them are living in Europe. They don't even know most things about other countries. And if somebody come and say this is the reason why I want to seek asylum, and then you people just put a one particular standard of seeking asylum, it's kind of difficult to understand the reason why people are seeking asylum. So they talk about the influx limitation, they talk about the asylum law, and then one thing I noticed is the people who are against the AfD bring a 48-page amendment, meaning that if they want to amend the asylum law up to 48 pages, it means they are going to amend at least every page of that, every article, every act of that law, right? I don't know how many pages made up the whole total, the asylum law, which is something I'm still going to research on it, but they bring 48 pages to be amended. It is crazy. And then they talk about also the progress of asylum seeker here in Germany. They talk about people who have sought asylum for the past 10 years and how many of them are working, especially when they have given them the working permit, which was something I was a little bit embarrassed because the number was so small. Now, sometimes I don't understand. Most times when I make video, people say they don't allow me to work. They don't allow me to work. But the numbers that they put there that I saw, it means they have given the opportunity for so many asylum seekers to work, but they do not want to work. Most of them want to remain on this normal social benefit and the rest. So they talk about it. Then they talk more on democracy. I love that they talk more on democracy. Then they talk even on issue in regards to Afghanistan and the rest. They bring references of positive Afghanistan so that people should understand that it's not only bad, there are still people who were inside that particular place that are coming from countries like that. Yeah. So they talk of it, they make reference, you know, when they are quoting law, criminal law stuff. I don't want to go to that part. They will make reference of, according to the case of this person. Somebody make a reference in regards to that. And guys, it was so simple. It wasn't so much of argue. It wasn't dramatized. They talk about Angela Merkel, her ruling. They talk about everything. And they make reference of this present person, which is who he is, the leader of the CDU party, which was the Angela Merkel party. They make reference of him so many times, and they said he is just looking direct. He's not looking sideways to look about things that they can do. Then they talk about bringing in armed forces in order to regulate this issue, because some particular set of people have decided to become bad. It does not mean the whole community is bad. So what they are going to do is to invest also on maybe law, armed forces, police, and the rest, all those kind of things that can bring order in the country. It was so peaceful, guys. It was peaceful. It is not as dramatic as most of us, the vloggers, will put it out there. I am categorically telling you people this because I watched it. I sat from the beginning to the ending. The people who are against, who are causing this drama, are not so that much as the people who are for. Okay, let's say the people who are in the Bundestag are not the total population of Germany, which is true. There were just 219 people on the seats today, I think, like that. 219, 219, something like that. There were 219 people today. These 219 represent all the parties, all the political parties in Germany: SPD, CDU, Link, Grün, SUP, AfD, PDF, and so on. These 219 people represent that, whereas those ones are also representing us outside. So it wasn't so dramatized, to be honest with you people. They were talking, they were laughing. There was somebody who, maybe, I don't know, maybe the past seat, he said something against, related to that. Then today he was saying something for, and there's somebody in the group, the back seat said, but you were for, you were against last time, and so on, and everybody was just laughing. Guys, for all I know is they are trying to put things together. For the past months and years, things haven't been okay. We all know that things have been happening. We should not pretend things have not been okay, but it is not as dramatized as us, the vloggers, or the people who talk about things in Germany, bring it out there. When I have time, I'm still in the kitchen cooking. When I have time, I will just come back again and I will state most of the important thing that they said. Maybe I'll do more research on the laws that they quoted.
To Germany now, where the parliament has just rejected a proposed new law to tighten immigration. Our correspondent Damien McGuinness was following events in the Bundestag.
It's all about whether you invite the far right in or whether you keep them out in the cold and don't work with them in German politics, this so-called firewall. And the reason why the Conservative leader's bill was so very controversial is that he effectively would have relied on the far right. We now know that that attempt has now failed. This is a real blow to Friedrich Merz, whose party is leading in the polls. And I think it shows that it potentially undermines his attempt to really, as he puts it, go all in on migration, because it shows that the majority in Parliament does not agree with his tactic. Now, I think what we've seen over certainly today and all week really, is a really ferocious debate about what the Conservative Party is all about. This is a party that's trying to find its way after years of being led by the centrist Chancellor Angela Merkel, who famously said, "Wir schaffen das," and said that Germany can take in refugees and migrants and can manage. Friedrich Merz has responded by shifting the party to the right. He was trying with this bill to win over right-wingers and lure them back, potentially those who are thinking about voting for the far-right AfD, by talking tough on migration. Now, this tactic hasn't worked in Parliament, and if you look at polls, it's not clear whether it would work at the ballot box either. Either way, he has suffered a blow today politically, and it'll also be interesting whether members of his Conservative Party didn't toe the line, because it was a named vote, and I think we'll get some more information about that, because the Conservatives are deeply split on migration. The former Chancellor Angela Merkel made an intervention yesterday and usually calling Friedrich Merz's tactics wrong, which is very unusual. And I think what we're seeing now is the Conservatives really trying to decide which way they're going to go now in the election campaign, because, of course, we have an election in 3 weeks' time, and there's everything to play for. So
yeah, I mean, it's going to be really...
has been a dramatic day in Parliament, really.
Yeah, as you say, Damien, it's going to be really, really interesting to get the readout of who has voted and how they have voted and where the support for Friedrich Merz has fallen away. Speaking of that election coming up very soon, what do you think this result does to his ambitions to be the next Chancellor?
I mean, he's still way ahead in the polls. So his party is traditionally the largest party, has been for a while. It's polling at around 30%. The difficulty for him is who he's going to work with, and that's where it gets tricky. And the question will really be whether this whole very messy, very difficult debate over migration has helped or harmed the far-right AfD. Because if it boosts the numbers of the AfD, if voters look at this mess in Parliament this week and think mainstream parties just can't get it together, then it's going to eat into the support of the mainstream parties, because even if no other party will work with the AfD, it means there's fewer votes to go around within other parties. And what it means is even if Friedrich Merz does become Chancellor, which, looking at the poll numbers right now, he's more likely to do than Olaf Scholz, even if he does, if he has to cobble together a very difficult coalition with partners he doesn't want to work with, or maybe a three-way coalition, which is what we've had now, which was very unstable and argumentative, it's going to make his government very difficult. So he still might become Chancellor, but it's not much good for him if it's a very difficult government to lead, because Germany's got some big challenges ahead and needs a unified and quite strong government to deal with those challenges that we're now looking at.
Damien McGuinness in Berlin. Let's speak now to Dr. Ed Turner, who is chair of the International Association for the Study of German Politics and professor of German politics at Aston University. Ed, thank you very much for joining us on BBC News. Your reaction to what's been happening in the Bundestag, really dramatic scenes there.
Well, that's right. And a surprising result. I think I can help. A lot of the dissidents came actually from the Liberal Party, the FDP. There was a rebellion amongst Christian Democrats against Merz as well. I think 11 or 12 didn't vote with his party and abstained or voted against. But taking a step back, this has been an incredible week in German politics. Even in November, Friedrich Merz was saying that he would ensure that no motions were passed or laws were passed which were reliant on the far-right AfD. That changed. It changed due to tremendous pressure on asylum, migration, security issues, and now we see the current situation.
And ultimately, do you think this is going to boost numbers for the AfD, or may it have the opposite effect? Might it boost or encourage voters who disagree with the AfD and what it represents to come out and vote for parties that oppose the AfD?
Well, the AfD are absolutely cock-a-hoop. They've been laughing and joking, celebrating great day for democracy on Wednesday. The firewall's gone. Now they can attack Merz and say he's been an ineffective leader. That being said, that I don't think they're going to win the election. They're still a deeply disliked party amongst most German voters. So there's a limit to how high they can poll. And also certainly there will also be some moderate voters who will have been somewhat repelled by the decision of the Christian Democrats to accept the support of the AfD in an attempt to get motions and the law through.
Do you think, despite all of this, Merz's party, the CDU, will emerge as the biggest party in the forthcoming elections, and that it will be he who is trying to put forward bring together a coalition?
Well, polls in recent months have been extremely stable. For the Christian Democrats, they look like getting around 30%, and it would be a remarkable level of change for them to decline so that they didn't win the election. So Merz is going to be in a position probably to try to lead talks to form a government. That looks much harder, as your correspondent was saying after this week. There's real anger, real consternation amongst Social Democrats and amongst Greens, and he'd need at least one of those parties on board to form a government about what's happened. And so, coalition talks, which would already be quite difficult after the election, become really, really difficult. And the relationships involved as well, which are also necessary to run an effective government, those are really shot to pieces.
And of course, a lot of concern and questions by partners in the EU. And briefly, if you would, on this answer, Ed, as to what this means for one of the biggest hitters in the bloc, a country that they have traditionally looked to really be the linchpin of the European Union.
There are two problems. One is the likely next Chancellor of Germany has been proposing legislation which are at odds with European law. That could start a domino effect and see other nations also saying we want to turn people away at our borders, we want to shut our borders. That would plunge the EU into a really difficult position, maybe a crisis. Secondly, a political hiatus in Germany, a vacuum of leadership will also be very difficult for the European Union to negotiate.
Ed, thank you very much. Dr. Ed Turner there, Professor of German Politics at Aston University, Chair of the International Association for the Study of German Politics.
Much for watching this video. Like I said from the beginning, if you're living here and they gave you permission to work, please go and use it. Make sure you are working or you are going to school. These are the two things that can save you now in Germany. Thank you so much.